Hello?
I'm bathing, Tony-san. We have little time left. My husband knows now who is truly behind his losses. He's coming to kill me. And you.
Well, I ain't waiting here for him. Where is he?
He's in Belleville, gathering his men. But soon he will come here.
Well, sayonara, sweetheart.
My prayers go with you, Tony-san. Good luck.
So in this mission, we will finally be having our epic showdown with Kazuki-Kasen, in which we have a fight to the death, where we slap each other around with our swords. Although it's not the type of sword that I'm sure Kazuki is looking forward to potentially getting his hands on there. Which I suppose once we reach that point in the mission, it'll turn out that Kazuki is a fan of multiple kinds of swords, by the sounds of things anyways. So, needless to say, it's not going to be gay sex that goes on later on. It'll be a katana fight, which I'm looking forward to. Versus what could potentially be going on with a sword fight. So, yeah, good stuff there. But, it's a pretty interesting thing that we have going on here, because you see this establishment that we're currently at, which is currently owned by Kazuki-Kasen. And if you're familiar with the events of Grand Theft Auto 3, in that game we see that Azuka-Kasen is in control of this establishment, and she allows Claude to make it his home in Staten Island. So, you get this, exchange of things going on behind the scenes with the Yakuza, as well as leadership and all that. So big things are going to happen in this mission, if you couldn't guess. I'm very excited to get to that point in this mission, which, we had to deal with a few Yakuza gang members there, and we're also going to have to deal with a few Yakuza gang members on our way to the casino where Kazuki is properly at. So, it's pretty interesting stuff that Kazuki finally figured it out, that Tony is the one behind all this Yakuza business that's going just very sour for them because of the destroyed shipments of weapons and stolen shipments of weapons, and of course the tank business where it was stolen and destroyed. So, everything's been building up to this point. So, you also have Kazuki figuring out that Toshiko is kind of betraying not only Kazuki, but also the Yakuza. So, he's also after her head, which is a bit of a sad thing, because Toshiko has been seeking out the attention of Kazuki, but it's gotten to this extreme point. I mean, maybe she could have just, given him the old Benjamin Johnson and turkey sandwich.
I meant this all of it, but it is fitting that I kill you myself. You too, leave us. I am going to enjoy thrusting my sword into you.
Yeah, I heard that about you.
So now that the big old monster has been defeated, well, I suppose once the smoke clears, you're going to have a lot of the assets that the Yakuza control being shifted between different hands behind the scenes. So, like I mentioned with the safe house that we went to earlier in this mission, that is going to be controlled by Azuka, and this big shot casino is going to be controlled by Kenji, and it's going to be called Kenji's Casino, no apostrophe, in Grand Theft Auto 3.
Toshiko, it's over now.
Yes, I knew that. Hello, Mr. Tony.
Hey, so, you won. You got what you wanted. Everything worked out great.
Great. Yes, great. Really great.
So it's, payment time, sweetheart.
We're both of us fools and killers, Mr. Tony.
I guess we are.
The world takes such a terrible toll on your spirit. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Tony?
I guess. But, you're free now. I mean, you can, go to, Costa Rica or Aruba or some shit. Start over new, that's what you always wanted.
I don't think I'm ready for a beach holiday, Mr. Tony. I've lost everything, and I have done so deliberately. I've been granted everything I asked for. Now, I just ask to be truly free. Goodbye, Tony-san.
So, we've got some pretty heavy stuff going on here with Toshiko Kasen, and I suppose to point out the obvious, Toshiko would never truly feel free, in quotation marks, regardless of the fate of Kazuki. She would still find herself in this situation where she feels caged in, and in the case in which Kazuki continues living, you just get a continuation of what has already been going on fairly recently, with this Yakuza business constantly building up around Toshiko, and of course the continual rejection from Kazuki onto Toshiko. So, you might even get the same end result from Toshiko in that she commits suicide in that situation. But instead we have this other side of the coin in which Kazuki is dead, thanks to Tony. But, at the same time, you can't excuse Toshiko from this, because it's kind of her fault that Tony is in this anti-Yakuza business in the first place, which is kind of the whole point. She has this guilt that Kazuki's blood is also on her hands, and you're kind of seeing the contrast between these two characters in the way in which they deal with this, because obviously with Toshiko, it's just giving her this great deal of guilt and emotional distress. And, it's not as simple for her as to just leave the city and move on from this. It's not an easy task, and that's kind of how I view this whole bird in a cage visualization that we got in that cutscene where Toshiko releases the bird from the cage and it flies off being free. And it's not so simple for people. It's not so simple to just move on from your past and just kind of forget all about it. These are scars that will last with you for your entire life, and it's just that Toshiko feels like there's no escaping it. So the only answer in this case, I guess, to escape it, or at least to try, would be to commit suicide. So, man, what a great storyline there. That's fantastic stuff by Rockstar, and that was a fantastic mission strand. So that completes this part. In the next part, we'll be completing 8 Balls missions, starting with Mo Money, Mo Problems, and finishing with Bringing the House Down. So until then, I will see you next time.